We are back with another automatic knife, another OTF. It's like the automatic knife gods just want to get out there because I've got a few others on the table to compare and to discuss differences on. It just seems like a couple of people specifically have bought a bunch of automatic knives and sent them in lately, so it's kind of funny. When it rains, it pours, right? This is the Microtech Scarab 3, a Scarab 2 Gen 3, okay? I thought it would be really good to kind of compare it with the Heretic Colossus. Heretic is a company owned by Microtech's son. So you got Anthony and you have his son, and wife that own Heretic knives. So there's a lot of similar DNA between the two brands. And I thought that this Scarab really matched this Colossus very well because of the sort of skateboard grip tape type of feel, which actually the Heretic is much more grippy, where I can, really push the knife around very simply without much downward pressure. So there's a lot more grip on the Heretic Colossus. There's some more branding on the scales as well. One of my least favorite things about that one. But let's talk about some of the specs on this Microtech first, and then I will compare it with a couple of other knives that I have here as well. From a mile away, it looks like a Microtech. Very recognizable glass breaker with the reversible clip. So you can just unscrew this glass breaker, pop the clip to either side. Works really well. Very unique fire button. These are a little bit different on the Combat Trudon versus the Scarab, but very similar. Same pocket clip, same-ish pocket clips. So again, very recognizable that this is a Microtech. Now, one thing that's unusual about this particular one is the strength of the firing mechanism, or lack thereof. This is very comfortable. Anybody with reduced hand strength is going to be able to use this no problem, because it's the lightest of these three in terms of force required to fire the knife and retract. Okay, so I really appreciate that. So you're at 5 3/4 closed, 9 5/8 overall. Again, where Colossus had the branding on the scales, this Microtech has it all over the blade, which I just hate. I hate it. A little branding, if you want to put the blade steel, okay. They do it on all their knives. It just is what it is. I can't really complain about it because that's just part of their nature on a lot of them. They do not do that on the Combat Trudon line. Trodon. They leave the branding off. So I wish they would just leave it off everywhere. Dirk's World. 3.9-inch blade with 3.7 cutting edge. This is M390 MK, which is basically M390. I talked about this before. I don't remember all the details because I didn't look it back up and refresh my memory. But there's some little extra added thing that Microtech put in or something to add that MK to the end of the M390. However, it's literally just M390 for the most part. Okay. Very nicely done. There might be a little something on the blade right there. Yes. Very nice two-tone blade. There you can get a close-up of that grip tape type look. Very well in the hand. You're going to have a lot of grip and texture. I like the milling around the scales. Here you have a Scarab logo instead of the normal Microtech logo. And then a sterile backside. They almost could have just broken up some of the brand. If they really want the branding, I don't know. They want the logo. So they're going to get the logo. That is what it is. Something with the OTFs, they are typically off-center. All of the examples I have here today, this is a TACCOM. Don't remember the name, but yeah, they are generally all off-center so that you can get the mechanism here located properly. That's all. Okay? Because the mechanism takes up some space. The blade has to be on the opposite side of the mechanism. So yeah, I mean, I get it. There are some that are more centered and some that are less centered, and it's okay. I don't fault that at all. Just the nature of it. And blade play. See if you can hear it here by the mic. That's on 95% of OTFs. It's just the nature of the beast. Hawk Knives did the deadlock. It's the only one that I know of that I have ever handled that has zero blade play. So what I really like about this one is the fire button. I think the Microtech fire buttons in general are uncomfortable over a period of time. It becomes not a fidgeter because it becomes uncomfortable. The Heretic for sure is uncomfortable as well. It is shaped differently, but it is still just the force required makes it uncomfortable. This TACCOM is more comfortable. It kind of fits somewhere strength-wise, I would say between the Scarab, which is light. This would be heavy. This one would be medium, in my opinion. And again, it still does have the very similar blade play, maybe slightly less than the Scarab. But it is still there. It is on all of them. Okay, it's just the nature of the beast. So I like to kind of bring them back home with my index finger this way sometimes, just depending on how I pick it up and move it. But let me give you a couple of quick size comparisons. Here it is, the Scarab with the TACCOM Guardian, I want to say it is. And if I line the glass breaker up with the butt end of the knife, there you go. Here's a Sharpie just thrown in the mix. How about the Spyderco Delica? What else do I have here that's kind of normal sized? How about a D-cell and a AA battery? Again, just for some contrast and comparison. All right, I think that covers it. This is, I believe, the last OTF that I have in the house right now to film, but you never know what's going to come in the mail tomorrow. Thanks a lot, everyone. Let me know your thoughts on OTFs down below. And if you made it this far, comment OTF.